What is up, assholes? Welcome back to Call to the Fan Leagues. This week, Full Metal keeps going on with their team, singles, and geek tournaments, as well as Multiplex has gone on starting their fandom singles tournament, as well as we are reaching round 2 of the Warzone tournament. We have 2 matches ever released so far. One is a great one. Other one, we're not going to talk about. And we're going to break down 2 of those things I just mentioned today. First off, though, we're about Full Metal, because I feel like I haven't talked to them as much. And why talk about the division when I can talk to the division? Today, I am joined by the commissioner of Full Metal Geek to talk about the future of the division, RJ. Oh, there you go. StreamYard changed things. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Just, work is work. I'm an essential worker, so Corona didn't stop me, but still getting things done in Geek, and I love talking about the things I have planned for it.
Speaking of, you recently announced the future of the division, because, and just to make things very quickly, because I saw you had a much longer, more thorough explanation, people just dropped out, people can't play, people got occupied for some reason, and now we have a largely restructured road to the next title.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. After all that, like you said, we had to reconstruct it. Like I said, it's a tournament, but it's not a tournament. But yeah, like I said, I wanted to make sure, like I said from the beginning, I just wanted to make sure whoever gets a shot at this title is going to be someone who has never had a shot at this title. So, we restructured it, brought in some of a little bit more of our veterans than just the guys who tested back in. But so far, everything's going pretty smoothly. We're finally almost down with the quote unquote round 1. That'll be over this weekend. So that's exciting.
All right. And speaking of that, let's throw up what you announced, I believe, yesterday, at least in text. Here we have the actual future of the division lined up to face Tim for the title.
Yeah. So as you see right there, like I said, it was just the last person because his matches just dropped. Last week, Cameron played Jake, and Cameron came out on top with that in sudden death. But after that, he had decided to step away. So we came up with the thing is we took the 2 highest scoring competitors who were only 0-1 after the other matches. That was Richard Schwartz, Albert Werderharma. We let them throw at it again. That drops this weekend. That will drop this weekend, and then we will move on. As you see the rest of it, everyone else, their opponents have already been decided. Nick Tuig won his match in a knockout. He's going up against Eli McCaig, who finally got his second win. You have David also getting a knockout in his first match. He's going up against one of our vets who has stepped in Caleb Coho. Now, Caleb is the only one who's a little bit of a different story because he has been in one number 1 contenders match way back when this first started, when there was only about 16 of us, but he hasn't been there since. So, for him, this is a nice throw for him to get back in there. And then another person who stepped in to face Amaru. Amaru won his match, TKO, and he's going to go up against Tim Smith. Tim Smith, not a lot of people talk about because he didn't get to play a lot last year like a lot of these guys. But the thing is, a lot of people kind of forgot he was actually one of the protected competitors, and the little playing that he did do, he did enough to get himself protected in the roster and come back without having to be retested. And then the last match we have for the technical round 2 is the winner of Albert and Richard will actually move on to face Ryan Payne, who I don't know if anybody hasn't seen that match yet, but you need to go watch him versus Mark Kamier because that was a barn burner of a match, probably the best match of this supposed first round. It was amazing, and I can't wait to see. And then, as you can see, kind of without having to go through it, I showed you, which matches, who's going to go up against who, to the point where we'll eventually get to our number 1 contenders match. And then, of course, the championship match. And then after that championship match, it's all about the brawl and the roster gauntlet.
Yes. And the important thing to no matter what happens, there's always a chance that one of my people I manage can get to the finals, because now they're on opposite sides of the bracket, thank God.
There you go.
But yeah. No, it's interesting because, especially because, again, me being selfish here, I did manage Coho in a league that now no longer exists. So seeing him against my other boy is really interesting fight. And then also, like, Nick Tuig is the person I think we're all scared of. He was MTFO Geektacular champion for a hot second there, as well as the fact that he's the current fandom teams champion, as well as just generally terrifying. So
yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, when people see his because I'm in the fandom tournament as well, and when our matches start dropping, when you start seeing the top competitors drop, and including him because he's number 4, you're gonna see, yeah, that This is the guy who everyone's going to be looking at to run through probably both of these tournaments. Everyone's going to be looking at Nitsuig.
And unless I'm mistaken, he's only ever lost one match in the entirety of trivia, and it's against Thomas Scully, who, like, how are we supposed to prepare for this man? Because
Exactly.
he's making his way through this tournament. And again, I'm working on training 2 players. I really want them to make it all the way. Nick Tuig is like a wall, an unstoppable machine. I don't know how to prepare for that.
I'm just glad I'm on the other side of the bracket at the moment for that, so I don't have to worry about that unless I actually get serious and make it pretty far.
Yeah. And also on top of that, in your video announcement you made, like, I want to say a month ago, but time is
probably about a month ago.
There was an announcement you had a decision on how to handle the post this current title road. The next title shot after that is a special event. And I was hoping I could give you like a formal spot here to talk about what that's going to be.
Yeah, so just to kind of re-explain it. So I don't know how many people out there like have been with us for long, but ever since the Fan Reaction League, a lot of us who were on the admin, on the teams running things, have always talked about, could we ever possibly do more than just a regular teams match, like a Survivor Series 5-on-5 eliminating each other type match? And it took me a while to figure it out. And I had a little help from my former co-commissioner and current Schmodown rookie sensation, Robert the Hobbit Parker. But we think we have figured out a way to make the full Metal Brawl happen. 2 teams, 5-on-5, going at each other in different rounds until one team is left. And that winning team is going to be the ones who I look at for the next possible picture. Now, the more explaining that will come later because I want it to be a surprise for everyone. I don't everyone want to know exactly what's going to happen yet. But as the things progress, like once we get to the brawl and the brawl is won, I will let everybody know, okay, these 5 guys, how are we going to determine who gets the next title shot? Like that's all been figured out, has been put into play, but it won't be revealed until after the brawl itself, which we're hoping October, November for that.
All right. So, and then the brawl, I just, more of like a fun question, because I know whenever I try to set up something, I'm always curious, like, how is this going to go? Have you speculated on any outcomes or anything like any sand in the machine per se that can make this even more crazy and wild than you're anticipating?
I expect a lot of problems just because that's a lot of people to monitor at one time. But I feel like if we can make it work, it's actually going to be something really fun for everyone to watch, like for everyone to watch and be a part of. It's just with the amount of people that's going to be doing this, we're talking 10 competitors, 2 or 3 hosts maybe, and people coming in and out. Like it's going to be a lot to manage. But if it's done right, it can be something really special.
Mm-hmm. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to add before I move on to the next topic of discussion with our new?
So yeah, I promise some people I would also talk about, because like I said, we're going to need some regular matches to go on before we get to October, November for this. And we do have some regular matches planned, but the main thing I want to do is this thing I'm calling the roster gauntlet. I have a lot of people, people complain about like, oh man, like with the testing, we're only getting 20 questions. It's not really a fair way to get into the league. We have people who just show up just because they're like, yeah, I'll give Geek a try. We have people who miss the post or cannot do it. And I wanted to give everyone a different kind of chance to do this. So what I had in mind was another thing people don't know about me, besides being a huge fan of Power Rangers, I'm also a big fan of MTV's The Challenge. If anyone's ever watched that trash TV, but there was one season where they had what they called the Redemption House, where basically whoever got, because it's like a regular weekly elimination game show, like you stay on until you get there. But for the ones who lost, they actually did a thing called Redemption House, where if you lost, you actually waited for another person to lose, and then in that house, you competed against each other in a gauntlet format. And basically, till halfway through the season, the last people who were left standing got to come back into the game. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to give 8 people that chance. I'm going to I'm going to get a wheel, pair up 8 people randomly gauntlet style. This isn't going to be a mini tournament. It is literally 1-on-1. Whoever wins faces the next person. Whoever wins faces the next person.
It's like a loser's bracket free-for-all sort of thing.
Exactly. But it's not the losers. It's going to be people who are not on the roster. Now, what this guarantees you, all it guarantees you is whoever is left standing at the end will not have to test to get on the roster next year. They're going to automatically save themselves a spot on the roster. And we're doing it reduced match format is what I like to call it. So each of these rounds you're going to play, it's not just 10 questions or 20 questions like we do in testing. You're going to play just a smaller version of a full Metal Geek match. It's going to be 8 questions in round 1, 4 questions in round 2, and round 3 you're only going to get a 3 and a 5 pointer. So it's going to be interesting to see because, and I'll put this out there again to let everybody know, this is how I'm going to do it. After Full Metal Brawl, I'm going to give you guys like a post 5 days in advance, 5 days to let you all know on this day, at this time, I'm going to post the sign-up post. The first 16 people to comment are going to go on a wheel. Once I have that wheel, I will do it live. That wheel is going to be spun 8 times. The 8 people who get spun, those are the 8 people who are going to get the chance, and that's the order they're going to play each other. So the first 2 people spun, they're going to be the first 2 competitors. Everyone spun after that is where you're going to fall in that line.
Mm-hmm. And so, for clarification, is this one big video or are these interspersed until?
No, yeah, these are going to be like matches. We're going to drop these like matches. They're just reduced matches format. So it's not going to be one giant video. That would be way too long. Like I said, it's not just 10 questions and the next person out. You're playing a mini match. You get to play a match, but you got to earn it. So, the person who goes first can maybe run the whole gauntlet and secure their spot, or the person at the end might get lucky and whoever they face at the end, they're able to beat and guarantee their spot. So, like I said, after the brawl, whenever I decide to do it, there will be a post 5 days in advance. I'm going to say, on this day, at this time, the sign-up post will go up, and the first 16 people to comment, those are the 16 people that are going to go on the wheel. And I'm begging you guys, I don't want to sound mean, but I'm going to put this out there. Don't tag your friends. Let them know what's going on, but they got to tag themselves. I'm not going to give someone a spot just because you tagged your friend because you think they belong. If you waste a 16 spot and they don't get there before the 16, they're not going to get on. Another thing, I want the people who really want in. If you think you want to just give Geek a try, save that for the testing. This is for the people who watch the Geek matches, Geektacular fandom, and are like, I belong there and I deserve a chance. This is your chance to try to earn that chance and prove it, because you're not just going to get tested. You're going to play in a match. You're going to play in multiple matches if you're good enough. But basically, serious applicants or not serious applicants need not apply. Don't be like, oh yeah, I want to try Geek. No. Don't waste a spot for someone, because like I said, it's only the first 16 people, and even all 16 of those people aren't going to play. It's still going to be cut in half by the time it's all over. So don't take a spot if you're not serious. That's all I'm really saying. Like, that's all I'm asking.
That sounds intense.
It's going to be. I look forward to it, and I know there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who, because I get messages maybe, I can honestly say twice a week of someone new who is, or someone old who's never got a chance of like, hey, when can I get into Geek? Hey, can I get into Geek? This is that time. This is that time to get in.
Yeah.
This is that time to take that chance.
And it's really interesting. I think other than one person who loves this live chat, I don't know who exactly it would be, because everyone is so passionate. And because Full Metal Geek has that very contained roster, it could be literally anybody. It could be these faces that we know from other leagues who really go around and actually win matches, who just didn't get into testing, who can still make an incredible run in this tournament.
Exactly. Like that's what I want to get at. I want to get to people who are like, oh, hey man, I missed the testing thing. Like, when's the next chance I can get in? This is it. This is the next chance to try to get in.
Yeah. All right. So now we jump from one league to another, where we get a close personal friend of mine who's also now officially my partner. Thanks to him for announcing that. Now I can just plug it every time and drag him down with me everywhere we go. It is one person who loves to dive into tournaments. It's Mr. Andrew Barr.
Hello.
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 Now, as I talked about in the opening and the title and whatever the fuck else, we got to round 2 in Warzone. We've had 2 matches officially dropped so far. You won one of them. No, the third one's dropping like in a couple hours.
Yes. I played up against Ryan Payne. Any predictions?
He KOs you, right?
Oh yeah, I'm dead.
Yeah. Okay, so he
round.
killed Andrew Barr. Congrats,
First
everybody.
round.
I mean, I like I said, I can say from geek experience, he's very scary. So
Yes. No, he is, especially since he picked Daisy Ridley as a strength, which means like automatically half of the options are Star Wars related. So
Right.
yeah.
Well, it was like exactly 6 movies. 3 of them are fandom. One of them is formerly fandom, and the other 2 are like Peter Rabbit.
Peter Rabbit and Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah. So it's like it's all good. It's like it's other than Peter Rabbit, it's like, hey, I vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So since you are, officially the person who we know is getting through the round 2, and then someone who I'm not going to acknowledge because that was just depressing, I want to sit down with you and talk about.
Okay.
Did you see that match that dropped today?
I did, yes.
Yeah, it's very sad. We're going to go through round 2 Warzone, and RJ, you can stick around because you've played in Warzone. So
I'm just really glad I didn't make it into that tournament. I'm so glad.
I won RJ in the next tournament in Warzone because he's a better general movie player than people give him credit for.
I'll gladly play RJ next round
that.
and fucking Kirk at the 13 team, which is ridiculous.
We don't need to do any of that. We don't need me back in regular movie trivia.
Yes,
No.
right. Yes.
No.
Yes.
So RJ, what you can do is on this breakdown, you can tell you're better than everybody in round 2 as we just sort of break it down. And just to make sure everyone knows, yes, this is outdated one. I don't have an updated one because it doesn't exist.
Yeah, so get on there, Multiplex.
No. We love everyone involved there. Thank you, Kane. First up, Jake Marangoni versus Thomas Eanes. I was a part of one of these matches, and it's not the champion. So actually, thank you, RJ, for reminding me. I should probably be smarter with this. Let's just whoop, and there you go.
Yeah.
All right, so Jake Marangoni, champion. He also beat the person who we thought was going to win this whole tournament, Nick Tuig. And then there's Thomas
Nick Tuig
Eanes.
still can come from behind and just win.
You're right, he still can.
Yeah.
And Thomas Eanes, one half of the former team champions who beat Jake Marangoni, and who also lost to Jake Marangoni twice.
And beat him once, technically. So
yeah, well, I said that. So how do you guys think this is going? Because I think this is interesting. Because Jake, obviously, we think he's technically the favorite to win this whole tournament. We can get to that later. Wasserkrug almost beat Eanes. And this is a former team champion going up against the B player in another team. B player almost beating Eanes, which is incredible. That is that's unexpected. Can he beat Jake? I don't think he can.
Thomas Eanes is my boy. He is my manager over in fandom. So I know how he feels about playing it. And he's kind of like me. He goes in and he knows what he knows, and he's not gonna. He'll study a little bit. He'll get prepared when he knows the strength, when he sees the wheels. He'll make sure he knows his categories for round 3, and he'll pick as smart as he can. But against Jake Marangoni, it is going to also require a little bit of luck. But if there's anyone who can take advantage of some good luck, some good spins, and some good category choices, it's Thomas Eanes.
Yeah. Thomas is really smart when it comes to the strategy aspect of it. But if you look at that match that he played against Sean will probably admit this himself. Sean beat himself. He made 2 mistakes that cost him the match, and he would admit that. Jake, I think, is going to be tougher. And Thomas, I like Thomas a lot. He's a cool dude. I enjoy being on call with him whenever I have been. But this is Jake's match to win, in my opinion.
Also really interesting because the season sort of technically started with Eames winning the Manager Bowl in a really dominant way.
Yeah.
Where he destroyed me, Jay, and Nico. So I initially thought very highly of him. And then seeing him at 16 seed was really surprising to me. Even as I got to know Multiplex even more, him being only 16 shocked me. Then again, Kirk is 13, so maybe he's just really stacked.
That's fair. Thomas is a very strong player, but I think Jake is just kind of too strong for Thomas in this match.
I mean, that's what we think. Once we get to round 3, we can see how that goes because my bias is going to show.
Like, okay. What I think, Andrew, like, it's not just about Jake being strong because there's a lot of strong competitors, but Jake is one of those former champ guys who like keep switching the belt that like nobody covets that belt more than Jake. I'm sorry. Right. In Multiplex, nobody covets that belt more than Jake.
No.
Nobody. And
he wants it back.
He is honestly probably the epitome of Roka here. Like when he's just like when you get him down, he's like, all right, I'll be freaking back. And he will come back. So it's like I said, that's why it takes luck because nobody can match his intensity. No one can match his desire. I'm sorry. There's nobody on either of these brackets I see doing that. And that's why he's scary and that's why he's the favorite.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that in a second. Because now we got Cameron Holtzman versus Jacoby Bancroft. Jacoby being a 9, also very surprising. Because he's someone who I feel like just vaguely looking back, I see as like a 500 player. Absolutely not.
No.
His win over Ethan Ballard set him on a path to destruction, and it has catapulted him very high on this ranking. And he goes against Cameron Holtzman, my buddy, my friend, not a teammate, but someone who I worked with very closely for all of about 2 months. I think Holtzman can take this. I can say honestly, I know this hasn't taped yet. So this could really go either way. We have no idea what's going to happen. But I think that currently, I think Holtzman is working with the best manager in the game, Caleb Coho. And Jacoby, while in the Cinema Asylum, I don't think Jay can prep him as hard as he needs to beat Holtzman. Because Holtzman has those strengths that you cannot prepare for.
But here's the other thing. Even hi, Jake.
You missed all the compliments I gave you.
Yes, exactly. You can rewind later once this is done recording. But here's the thing you have to remember: when Jacoby played Ethan, he didn't have Jay with him, so Jay could actually be an improvement.
I mean, I was there to help Jacoby, so is that an improvement? Check the manager pool. Dunk. Sorry, go ahead.
Nobody does self-deprecation like Adelaide Smith says.
Yeah.
I beg to differ. You should watch some of my matches.
Gosh darn it, you're right. We have the 3 kings of self-deprecation on the call right now.
Which one am I? Am I Mark Wahlberg?
But as I was saying, Jacoby was with I think it was Brooklyn at the time, actually. So now that I actually think about that, but Jacoby is a hard studier. Like, he will study and he will retain. Not to say Cameron doesn't, which is why I think this will be the match of round 2 of the tournament. These are the two of the hardest studiers in the leagues. And I think if they get their strengths and they get the questions that they need, this could be a high scoring match.
Yeah.
So this is one of those matches that I look up that you always got to kind of these two to me exemplify what happens when 8 and 9 go up next to each other. When you have people that closely ranked go up against each other, it is because they are that close in skill. Like this this has the potential to go either way. But for me, like, because don't get me wrong, Jacoby Bancroft is scary because I've seen what he can also do in fandom. And that's always scary when you have someone who can be that dominant in more than one, league. But the thing about Cameron is not only, like, I lost to Cameron, so I know he's good. Like, but it's kind of what Adelaide said. He also has a really strong man in his corner in Caleb Coho. No one studies the game more than Coho. Coho is a student of the game and a master of the management game, which he's proven year in and year out. Like, he may not get all the wins he wants, and Cody may think otherwise, but Cody's, like, to me, like, Cody's just as good, but, like, Cody may think otherwise. But I think Caleb, what he has in Scully right now in fandom, I think he can turn Cameron into here in Warzone.
I mean, he still has Boatman. Let's not forget that.
He does, but that's what I mean. But Boatman has his own way of doing things.
Right.
And, like, but I see Cameron taking more to heart when Caleb is like, dude, let's do this. And Cameron's like, I got you. Whereas Caleb is like, I'm going to do this my way, though. I hear you, but I'm going to do this my way.
Not only that, but Boatman has the belt right now. And at the moment, Cameron has more games ahead of him.
That is true.
So Coho has more time to focus on Cameron right now. I think Cameron, with the other match that just went up recently, I think Cameron's the only Kingsman left in the tournament. So,
well, no, because that match hasn't dropped yet. We don't know if Coho has beaten Brian yet.
That's right.
Yeah,
but not focusing on himself.
But we also still have
being
Sean in the tournament facing Kirk in round 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We have 3 Kingsmen in the tournament.
Okay, my math is off, so sue me. This isn't Multiplex Math Warzone, it's Movie Warzone. So
Right, for miscellaneous, got it.
Yeah, save that for the nerd stuff, like miscellaneous.
Yeah, but so just so I can make my thing correct, so we can work our way through this. Do we agree that Holtzman is going to beat Jacoby in a tight match?
I'm going to say yes.
Two's all I need. Sorry, Barr.
That's fine. My thing is that if Jacoby is able to do the Bancroft bomb like he did against Ethan, then we could be seeing an entirely different match, though.
Oh yeah, it literally just comes down to what are the categories? Because the reason that Jacoby did so well against Barr because he picked such a narrow category. And Holtzman does his thing of doing 21st century Randy Thom, which is like 1,000 movies.
Yeah.
Can Jacoby prep it in time?
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Then we go on to we jumped down a little bit. Sean versus Kirk. I'm gonna keep it brief. Sean didn't know that Judgment at Nuremberg centered around judges. I don't think he can beat Kirk. Like, very hard to do.
That question's a little different. The question was what were the profession of the men that were on trial?
Yeah.
And therefore, like, Judgment at Nuremberg still it's a court thing. So,
but it was also in a strength category, which they were knew was in the strength category, which he could study. Was his strength.
That's fair. Plus, that is also a movie that I really love very deeply.
It's also history.
Yes.
I'm going to suck Kirk's dick a lot of the way through this tournament because that man genuinely scares me. Metaphorically, so don't worry. I know he's
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Kirk could make a serious run here. I think our match was closer than even I thought it would be, and that was only on the thing of he just got a really rough category in round 2. I think if Kirk plays his cards right, he can TKO even Sandberg and then go on to he can go on to the semis very quickly.
I think that Kirk is probably my favorite to go to the semifinals on this side of the bracket. However, I think Sandberg is one of the biggest threats that Kirk could face along the way. With that being said, I think it's definitely not going to be a TKO. I think there's going to be no TKO. I don't think there's going to be any KOs with this match. I think I have Kirk squeaking this out.
When I first looked at this roster before all the round 1 matches dropped, I wanted to see Kirk and Matt, and so I believe in Kirk as well. He does really well over in Full Metal, so I don't see him. I see him stepping up his game here as well, and upsetting the 4 because it's technically an upset, even though people know Kirk is good, but by actual rankings, it'd be considered an upset. But I see him pulling that upset out and making it to the semifinals.
Ooh. All right, so we're all in agreement. Now we get to, and I'm just going to tell you right now, I think it's another upset. Antonio Chavez versus Matt Queller. I
agree.
think Queller I think he's one of the more underrated players, surprisingly enough. Even though he is part of the former team champions, I think he's someone who can really impress. And RJ, especially, I think he's made a lot more headway in Full Metal than he has in Multiplex. But I think that this is his time. I see him go. I see him fighting Kirk in the quarters, just because of the fact that I think his win over Lucas, people just sort of forgot about it. But he can be a really dangerous competitor given the time and space.
No, absolutely. That's exactly what Matt is. Like Matt is the sleeper. Like Matt is the one that he can play movie trivia, but no one really realizes how good he is because he usually just lets himself fade to the background of his own choice.
Yeah.
He's not a loud, boisterous man. He's just, I'm going to show up and I'm going to play. But when he plays, he plays. And yeah, like I said, I mean, that's who, like in this little corner of the bracket, that's who I wanted to see go forward. So yeah, I mean, it's hard for me just to go against Matt. Like Antonio did okay. Antonio did his thing in the first round, but I just think I think getting to the second round just wakes him up a little bit more, and he's going to at least tread on to the semis, and it'll be a very, like I said, that would be my most anticipated semifinals right there would be Kirk versus Matt, and I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
This is a rematch, actually. Jake brought it up. I double checked. That is correct. This is absolutely a rematch. I believe Antonio won the first time.
He did. Final score of 17-16.
But you look at that score. Look at that score. That is tight. That is really close. And I think that RJ is absolutely correct. Matt is the guy that's just dressed in camouflage, waiting for the background, waiting for you to mess up and just like walk in front of him before he freaking pounces on you and drags you down. Queller is the silent killer of this league, of this tournament. Now Antonio is a very, very strong player, but Antonio can have some off days, is the thing. So if Antonio has an off day, that's Queller's moment to just like strike. I think that while this will be close, I do still have Matt pulling this one out.
I'm gonna call him Matt Quarter Queller. That's what we're gonna call him.
Yeah,
hey, that's a Hunger Games reference. And now we move on to round 2. Where here you go, Andrew. You can actually talk about this that you think it already happened. Brian versus Coho. I'm just gonna be biased and say Coho because he's not my manager, but he managed me 3 times, and for that I am indebted to him. I have sent him way too many movie posters and DVDs and shit. So I'll just give him the win here. No argument. Yeah, Brian is the 2 seed and one of the most terrifying people to ever play movie trivia. Why not?
Yeah, Brian is the number 2 seed for an absolute reason. Brian actually had a championship match. He has played in a championship match. And while Coho has played in championship matches before, it's never been in Warzone. Plus, Brian has the added benefit of having previously been the head question writer, as well as just age. Brian has,
age helps.
Yeah, it helps a lot. Brian has just a lot more years of experience, a lot more years of watching film than Coho does. I think Coho is a shoo-in for most improved player of the year, bar none, he is the number one seed in that when it comes to that competition. But when it comes to this match, I have Brian taking this one.
Yeah, man, that's just because, like, I agree with you how much of a beast Brian is, but we have seen time and again with some other competitors in this league and in the Schmodown that sometimes age don't mean a damn thing.
Mm.
Like Paulo Yama won the belt.
Fair.
And, and a lot of people see in this season that Robert Parker is going to be the one who's going to make the run for the Inner Geekdom belt. And he just turned 21. Age doesn't have to do with anything sometimes, but there are people who can take advantage of it. Brian Michaels is one of them. But this is the one, just because it's just, I feel like it's going to be closer than people think it's going to be. I actually see Brian squeaking past Koho. I see Koho giving him much more of a fight than people think it's going to be.
All right, so you're both wrong, but... And then he moves on in round 2 to face Mark Menchaca, because that happened. That's going to be a murder we'll get to in a couple minutes. And then we move on to, hey, Bart, you're going to really love this one.
Okay.
So I want to go to you first, because this actually relates to you. You face the winner of Nazario Montenegro, who I didn't give the time to on our previous episode, but hot damn did he beat Dominic Rizzi.
Yes.
That
was a really, really fun match to watch.
Yeah. And Michael Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
I will just say very briefly, I will go on record, and I said I believe that Michael Campbell is the current player who has not won singles title yet, who I think will be the next one to be.
Mm-hmm. I heard you say that before. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You can sit there and pronounce all you want.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Campbell is one of the scariest people I've ever had the pleasure of facing. Mm-hmm. I never want to face him again, and I think he's going to murder everyone who he faces.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go.
He has to beat Nazario first, and Nazario is no slouch. Nazario can pull out victories and answers that I never would have expected. Like, I remember I played Nazario in another league. I played him in Full Metal once, and he almost got a perfect round 1. He pulled out some answers that I was like, that's not a 1-point question. Oh, Nazario got that? Okay. You want to play the Drew McWeeny of the fan leagues, Andrew? I do. In fact, I really do. Because Michael has Cody behind him. And the last time Cody was on here talking brackets, we already know Golden God's going to win. Well, against Nazario? Yeah. He would be my pick too. I'm gonna pick Michael in this one. Not only because I think that Michael's just a little bit more composed. Nazario has a tendency to answer a little too quickly. But also because I just want to beat him. I just want to beat him so I can shut Cody up. Like that man is wrong. Cody just rides Michael's coattails because Cody can't win a match. Cody can't win a game of shoots and ladders.
Here we go.
So yeah, bring on Michael. Bring on Michael so I can beat him and knock out Cody's golden boy on that side of the bracket. So look, I love Nazario. I hope you win, but I also hope you lose so I can do the things that I need to do in order to, knock a man down a few pegs. Just word of advice. Lay down.
Just a reminder, his name is the Golden God, not the Golden Boy, whatever you called him. In case you didn't know your possible opponent that well. But also...
No, I knew what I was saying.
Does it matter what I think?
Go ahead, RJ. Go ahead.
No, I agree that like Nazario can pull some stuff out, but and he's gonna kill me because that's the one thing I do bad in factions is I really try to be unbiased when I make like predictions and stuff. Nazario lets good things go to his head, and you can't do that against a man like Michael Campbell. And beating Dominic Rizzi can go to your head in any division. Beating Dominic Rizzi goes to your head, but Dominic Rizzi has also had, he just recently lost the title. Guy's not in his. Guy had to go back into a tournament after being the champion for 2 seconds. I wasn't expecting him. I wasn't expecting much of him in Warzone. I feel like he was more like, you know what, I'm going to play whatever in Warzone, but I want my belt back in fandom. So I wasn't that surprised when Nazario was able to pull out the win. But if he can keep his cool, kind of like Andrew said, like if he can keep it together and not let it go to his head, he has a chance against Michael Campbell. But if he plays his usual Nazario way, Michael Campbell's going to walk away with the win.
All right. And Barr, you can save your promo stuff for a little bit, because we'll go back to the other side just really quickly. Jake Marangoni versus Cameron Holtzman. Here's where Jake's revenge tour ends. I don't think he's going for that singles title again this season. I think he's a different player, not a better one, a different one. I think that Cam's going to make a run for it. The Kingsmen are hungry for that singles title. There's a reason Boatman got it over Jake, and that's because they are hungry for gold. Mm-hmm. Cody's on their coattails every inch of the way, saying, "Fuck you, I'm better."
That's all he's good at. That's all Cody's good at, is riding coattails.
Exactly. Here's the chance for the Kingsmen to shut up Cody. At the end of last season, when they went from, I'm forgetting names, Coho as a manager only kept one player between seasons, and that player was Cameron Holtzman. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Cody had the singles title, and pretty soon he had the team's title. Holtzman was there by Coho's side the entire way. And this is Coho's time to say, "Fuck you. No, I am the best here."
And they do currently hold the fandom singles as well.
Exactly.
I have Jake in this. As much as I've been shit-talking Cody, there's a reason that his players do as well as they do in Warzone. There's a reason that Jake and Michael hold the team belts. And it's because they have a manager behind them that has been doing this a long time, really puts his effort behind his players. Not to say that Coho doesn't. I just think that Jake's overall knowledge combined with Cody's intellect of how to play the game, I think that overtakes Cameron in that match. I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be close, especially depending on who lands on what in round 2. But I still think that Jake pulls it out.
Yeah, I can also see this being very close. If it goes Cameron's way, it is going to come down to a single question. It's going to come down to Jake didn't answer something right. I think that's really it. If Cameron wins this, not to say that Cameron's going to have to play good to do it, but he's going to need Jake to screw up somewhere bad. Oh. And Jake rarely does that here.
There's one way in which this goes Cam's way, and I think is if he forces Jake to do something besides Jennifer Lawrence for 4. Because everyone in the first order loves Jennifer Lawrence. If you take that 4 away from Jake, he might be fucked. It's not a guarantee, but it's something to lean on in case something can't go his way.
Right.
Yeah.
But but like I said, because just like Cody knows how to play the game, so does Coho. To them, is that worth the risk? If they can take it away from him, is Cameron going to be okay with answering it himself? Because I think even if Jake doesn't get that 4-pointer, Cameron's going to have to answer that 4-pointer himself to win that match.
Yeah.
So is it worth the risk to take it away from him?
Here's the thing. Jake's also really, really strong in other categories in round 4. Jake is really good when it comes to things like Oscars and scores and soundtracks and a lot of other things like that, broader things that he might also put on there as his 4-pointer.
Maybe. So do you both think that Jake's gonna move on incorrectly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. And then we have. I think this could be a really interesting. I think these are two vastly different matches, just in the way that my mind sort of sees them. Jake versus Holtzman is one thing, and Kirk versus Queller is another. Because I think Jake and Holtzman have these very loud, boisterous managers who sort of push the legacy they have behind them. Kirk versus Queller are just show up, play, murder type of people.
Yeah. Queller versus Kirk is actually going to be a rematch. You're absolutely right, Nico. That's going to be a category on their wheel now. But yeah, Queller versus Kirk is going to be a rematch. They played in Full Metal recently, where Kirk pulled out the victory. I think that Matt had a little bit of bad luck in his match against Kirk, even though in round 2 he did phenomenally well. However, I still have Kirk pulling this one out. Kirk is not only really knowledgeable in a lot of different areas. Like, he's one of those players that doesn't necessarily have a specific genre that he's obviously weak in. But I think Kirk also is a really great strategist. He really knows how to play the game, and knows what to use, how to piece things together and come up with a correct answer or the correct strategy of how to outplay their opponent. So I have Kirk winning that.
I don't know if I can talk about what I want to talk about how I feel about this match. Andrew, can I?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so I had to play Kirk recently for situations, and y'all learn more about that on Full Metal. But so I gotta look at him firsthand. So I'm not gonna spoil obviously what happened. But what I did learn from that match is it is hard to break Kirk. It is very hard to break Kirk. And I just don't see Matt beating that, just that stone coldness he has. Like when I played him, just of like, no, what's the word? Just no faltering. No reacting to what happens. Just, okay, next question, please. And just like,
except for one question, there was one moment.
Okay, there was one question.
You guys can watch the match when that happens.
Yeah. Well, that was more me. That was that was, but either way, like, yeah, I just, yeah. Boatman, you can correct me in whatever I'm saying. I just see what I see. That's all I'm saying. Whatever. Like, yeah, people need to be managed differently, whatever. Do you. Exactly. It was what you're still saying. You want to do it your way. Still exactly basically what I said. But anyways, I don't see Kirk losing that. Like, I love Matt, but I don't see Kirk losing that. That man would really have to have a bad string of luck because he will not falter.
Yeah,
he's like Liam Neeson in Taken. He will find you, and he will kill you.
I will just say very briefly, not to undercut Queller, because I think this is a very tight match. I think it's like 60-40 in Kirk's favor. I think Queller has a very good chance at beating Kirk. And just like looking at this still, he's the 12 seed. Like, that's not to understate him. Kirk beating him would be an upset. But again, Kirk is scary. So is Queller. I feel like for some reason, both Queller and Eanes aren't as impressive on their own as they are as a team. They're like the Patriots. Like, using fun analogies again. On their own, can win a lot of matches, can never get the gold. This could be the time for Queller to show that he is rising above that. I think if Queller puts the effort into it he wants to, and with some of RJ's help maybe, because he's in faction together, he could very well beat Kirk. I don't think it will happen.
No help to anybody.
I am no help to
anybody.
Okay. So
Queller did prove himself to be a very, very dangerous opponent in the free-for-all. where
Yes.
he went a whole bunch of rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's the
Kirk,
Matt that
yeah.
needs to show up to play Kirk.
Exactly. If that match shows up to play Kirk, it is a tighter match than otherwise people would think.
All right. So Jake versus Kirk in the semis. We'll get to in a second. Brian Michaels versus Mark Menchaca. I don't want to spend more than 2 seconds on this. Fuck you, Cody. Brian Michaels moves on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brian Michaels. I don't. I think it's literally going to take a semifinal or the finals match for Brian Michaels to go down. It's going to take being at that level.
Mark is a very good player. He's a very good player. Brian is just a little bit better at trying to think of what the term is, but like pulling the knowledge from his head. Mark will
finding it in that 15 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Mark will sometimes have a tendency to either something like overthink or just not be able to like pull that knowledge that he has, obviously. And I think Brian is a lot more controlled in that sense. And I do genuinely think that Brian is a little bit more knowledgeable as well. So I think it's a good match, but I think Brian wins.
I mean, let's just play the odds here. Brian is the number 2 seed and one of the greatest to ever play trivia. Mark Menchaca is maybe the 3rd best rookie we've seen this season. I don't think Mark wins this at all.
Rookie that is still playing or just overall?
Overall.
Interesting.
I just think at that point when they come to meet each other, experience is when it's going to start to matter. Like, don't get me wrong, you're playing a lot of matches as a rookie and you're getting there, you're winning, but now you're starting to not face other rookies. You're facing people who you're facing number 2. You know, like you're not playing, other rookies anymore. Don't get me wrong, like he hasn't gone, he doesn't have the chance to go through other rookies. He hasn't gone through other rookies except Cameron, really, by the rankings, but still, it's different.
Yeah.
Getting to rounds 3 and 4 in these tournaments.
Yeah. Playing people that have gone for championship matches.
These are people who has won as many matches as you now. Like you're not playing anybody, oh, I haven't played in this long, oh, I haven't, like, no. You have both recently won 2 matches. Like, it's going to start getting to that point.
Also, Var, go ahead and get a promo again. Michael Campbell, you might face him.
Okay, hold on. Look, I don't know if I am playing Michael Campbell just yet, but here's the thing. Michael Campbell's a good dude. He's a very, very talented player. I can grant you that. However, remember that team title match that they lost? I was playing along. I was like listening to questions, answering questions while I was at work. If I was playing as Matt and Thomas, by myself, I would have gotten almost 4/5 of the total points that Concept got by myself. So Michael better come with his A game if he wins, because I'm going to come with mine as well. Love the dude, but you know what? When it comes to overall movie knowledge, I may have you beat, buddy. I love you though.
Okay.
Those are just Andrew by himself.
Those
one
are
board,
big words for the
marker,
6th seed. How
seconds.
dare you? Bar, I love you, buddy. But there's a reason that I said I think Michael Campbell can win it all. I think he wins this all. I think he beats everybody else in this entire tournament. Unfortunately, you included.
Fuck you, Jake. He also knows the difference between Tom Cruise and Tom Hanks, so that's another plus that he has.
Here's all I can say about that. My biggest pet peeve in these leagues are when people are like, oh, I played along and I did better than you. Dude, like, I love you, Andrew, but don't go off of that. Like, I know you're still going to prepare. I know you're still going to prepare, but do not go off of that. Don't ever use that in trash talk because that don't mean shit. I've done better than so many people in like playing along because I'm not sitting there under the lights when moving on in the tournament is on the line. Like, it's a whole different game.
Fair enough, but I still think people are...
I see you having a chance. I don't know how everybody else is, but I see you with a really good chance against Michael Campbell.
If Michael Campbell is to win, and I do play him, I think people are really unfairly just tossing me aside. I really do.
I agree with that.
I'm not somebody who normally is the type of person who's like building myself up and like, yeah, I'm like one of the better players in the league and blah. Like, no, I'm just a guy who wants to have fun. But like, I genuinely feel like a lot of people, if I go up against Michael Campbell, I genuinely feel like a lot of people are just like, Michael's got this, cakewalk, easy, blah. But like,
bro, you're preaching
the one
to
that
the
Andrew
choir.
cried to earlier this week.
It is. But like, no, I think I can take Michael to the last question. I really do. I think it's going to be a really good match. And I'm excited to play if he wins, but I'm also excited to play Nazario if he wins. So
here's the problem, though. This is Michael Campbell's Rocky 3 because he's already on top. We know he's incredible. But look who he has to face. He faced Tyler Butler, arguably Rookie of the Year. He faces Nazario Montenegro, who beat the 3 seed. Absolutely incredible. He faces you, the 6 seed. And he goes on to face Brian Michaels. He is getting hard hit after hard hit after. It's like you're throwing rocks at him every step of the way, and he just fucking hits the rocks out of his face like, no, fuck you. This is my time.
I'm Rocky in Rocky 2. He could be Rocky in Rocky 3. He still lost a match in Rocky 3.
Can I be Rocky in Rocky 5?
I haven't seen Rocky 3. That's just estimating.
Yeah,
no, you know what?
Lost one of his matches.
I'll be Rocky and Rocky. I'll be Rocky and Rocky Balboa. I'll be that Rocky.
I'll be Rocky and Creed. I'll just complain about everything and say like I'm better than you, and just like eat a sandwich while someone else is doing the work.
So anyways. Yeah, he could be Rocky in Rocky 3. I'll be Rocky in Rocky 2 and win. But I do want to say that whoever I play, Michael or Nazario, you can't really be Rocky and Rocky if you haven't gotten a title match yet. Fair enough, but still, you understood what I meant, Bowman. But no matter who I play, Nazario or Michael, I'm really excited to play whoever it is because I think that'll be just a fun match overall.
Mm. See, I don't want to vote for Michael now, but I sort of have to still. RJ, do you have any final thoughts on who you think can win this?
No, I said what I had to say. I think he can put up a great match against him. I would love to see them two go out of this bracket. So yeah, I would love to see that go down. And I see that Andrew's hungry. Just as long as he doesn't play I played a long card and beat you.
Oh no, I'm not relying on that.
Yes, but the thing is, it's recorded, and they might use that against you. Just be prepared.
Okay, fair enough.
That's why I gave him the single thing. So like, if Cody wants to steal it for a promo, go right ahead. Here's the opportunity to just steal shit. I know Barr liked to do that in his post match.
Oh yeah, especially going up against Cody's people. Never say anything to try to boost yourself up, because then Cody does or shuts up. I made the mistake with the fandom tournament before I saw the brackets. F my life. Now he won't shut up.
That's all right. And now I'm gonna just get rid of this so I can focus on the actual important people, us. Jake versus Kirk in the semi-finals. I think Holtzman could easily beat Jake. I think Holtzman could beat Kirk. I don't think Jake can beat Kirk. I think Kirk is going to the finals this year.
If it does come down between the two of them, I think I agree. I think Kirk wins. I think it'll be super tight. I think it'll be a high-scoring match. I think it'll go down to the last question. But I do agree. I think if Jake were to play Kirk in the semifinals, I would have Kirk pulling it out.
I agree.
That was very simple.
To me, that would be like the upset of the tournament. Jake losing before the finals.
Except Kirk's not a number 32 seed this year, so
yeah.
And then Brian Michaels
versus me in a rematch. He's not going to top dollar me this time.
Andrew, do you want to cut the promo against your friend, or do you want to just sit here and be nice?
No, I'll sit here and be nice.
If you can beat Michael Campbell, I think you can beat Brian, because I think the way you and Brian approach trivia, at least from me looking on the outside in, appears to be very different. I think that you work with Brian enough to know what he's good at, what he isn't good at. I think you are more of a studier, but I don't know that certain. I don't know everything. I think that you have a very good chance against Brian. I don't want to pick. I think you can beat him. That's my official pick, but it's just 41 or 51-49.
Now, when Michael Campbell beats me,
I think Campbell could beat Brian too. I think Campbell goes to face Boat if he beats you. I don't think that's arguable. I think you versus Brian is a much tighter match.
I say both semifinals are upsets. I say whether it is Michael Campbell or Andrew Barr, I say number 1 and number 2 are not in the finals.
Wow.
I'm gonna be that guy and be like, number 1 and number 2 get upset right before the finals.
Okay. If it came down between Brian Michaels and Michael Campbell, I got Brian Michaels winning that. I really do. I think it's tight. I think it's close. I think Brian is just able to eke it out.
But it's you, and you think you can beat him. So
let's not. Hold on. You didn't have faith in me before.
Yes, I did.
Why are you changing your tone now?
I have faith in you. I have faith in you. I just have stats on Michael's side. But do you? Okay. But the Jurassic versus the Classic, because I think that's a great header for event.
Yeah.
Kirk Kolakowski versus Andrew Barr in the finals.
Oh.
Look at this. Look at this shit, man. It's all leading up. It's Sim Asylum just coming and fighting. And I know you didn't have a manager in the last match, but the story of you two facing off in the finals is fucking legendary. Especially since I barely lost to the number 1 contender, possibly. So I look pretty good, don't I? RJ, you have the least in this, so you go ahead and.
I have Kirk winning it all.
Yeah.
I have Kirk winning it all.
I have.
Oh, look, and apparently Brian's and Kayla's match just dropped.
Yeah, it's premiering right now over on Multiplex. Also, thank you, Kirk, for talking about how you playing makes you happy.
It would make me happy too, mainly because I've always wanted to play Kirk in a one-on-one match, but I've been having fun. I've been throwing shade. I've been doing all of this.
You're not wrong, Jake.
That's true. I've been having fun. I've been throwing shade. I've been talking trash and all that stuff. I definitely think Kirk goes to the championship match. And whether he plays Brian Michaels or Michael Campbell, or Nazario if Nazario wins, we just keep presuming. Sorry. I think that whoever Kirk plays will definitely give them a hell of a match. I would say that if it came down... Well, first of all, if it came down to me versus Kirk, I beat Kirk. No, Kirk wins. If it comes down to him playing Brian, that's a lot tougher.
I'll let you think on it for a second, because I want to just say this very briefly. Here's why I think you beat Kirk. When I played Kirk, I dropped 4 points. Those were 4 points that I should not have dropped, and that Kirk took 2 of them. But either way, it's a 4-point swing going to the last round. I could have pushed Kirk the distance. Me. 1-1, not great. If I can push Kirk the distance, I think you can beat him. I think he had a really rough round 2 in something that honestly was just tough in general. But round 1 things should not be that tough. I think if you're facing Kirk, I think you win this. I think that if Brian's facing Kirk, that's a different story. If Campbell's facing Kirk, that's a different story. I think you can beat Kirk.
Cool.
No pressure, but
yeah, let's not get to that point yet. I'm not there. I still have to face either Nazario or Michael. So
yeah. And let's just pretend. Is Bowman going to lose the title?
If he plays Kirk,
that's a toss-up for me. I really couldn't make a call like that.
That's absolutely a toss-up. Man,
anyone who wins this tournament, I call it a toss-up regardless. I don't see anyone a for sure yes just beating Boatman for the title coming out of this tournament. Not even Jake.
Yeah. I agree with RJ. No matter who wins this tournament, whoever plays Boatman is going to have to put up. They're going to have to put up like one of the matches of their career.
Jake Marangoni saying if Kirk actually wins the whole thing, then him v Boatman would also be a rematch. We're just putting all the rematches together. I love it.
Yeah,
that is true.
Screw it. All the rematches. Everyone keeps playing the same people.
The sequel is always better.
The sequel is always better.
Rush Hour 2.
What's that?
Better. I said Rush Hour 2.
That's an interesting pick for that.
The Raid.
It's better.
What about Secret of the Ooze? Come on, RJ.
Secret of the Ooze is better than Ninja Turtles. I'm sorry.
God.
The Secret of the Ooze is better than the first Ninja Turtles. I'm sorry. I truly believe that.
I will plead the fifth on that case.
I haven't seen either, but that just hurts from you.
No, this isn't Wild and Out. You don't just get to plead the fifth and walk away.
Whoa. Don't you dare bring up Wild and Out to me, sir.
Nah.
Well, see, Barr, if you live anywhere along this road, you can just challenge RJ.
Jake's not wrong. We can also agree that most times the third is always the worst.
Put some Shrek on Shrek the Third, okay? Is it the worst?
Shrek the Third is not better than Shrek 1 or 2.
No, it's absolutely not.
It's not even better than Shrek on 4D.
Like, and also to bring back that Rush Hour 3, terrible.
Oh God,
terrible movie.
But okay, so if Kirk were to face Boatman, it's a toss-up. I really cannot pick.
Yeah.
All right.
I can't say for any certainty that the winner of this tournament beats the champion. I can't say that about either singles tournament, to be completely honest.
Yeah. And also, we don't know the results for a lot of matches yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still speculating. For all we know, Kirk already lost.
We don't fucking know.
Yeah, exactly.
For all we know, Brian lost.
They both got knocked out.
Yeah, for all we know.
Nick Tui came back and he swept the whole thing.
Tui came back with a freaking chair.
Like Brian just said, him and Coho dropped right now. Coho could beat Brian for all we know. He could be beating him right now. We would have no idea making all these predictions.
I mean, you report it's 10-0 in round 1. How the fuck does that work?
Secret of the Ooze is so much better. So much better.
Fight.
The only thing Secret of the Ooze is missing is Casey Jones. It's the only thing it's missing. If it would have had Casey Jones in it, it'd be the best movie of the Ninja Turtle movies.
Mr. Barr.
Yes.
For Nazario, for Michael, for Mark, for Brian. Any final words?
I'd be excited to play any of you guys.
Nah, do it like Macho Man. Pull out the Macho Man.
Oh yeah, brother.
The cream of the crop. No.
Damn it. I'm so ready for you to just go in.
I thought you were going to go for it. As soon as you said cream of the crop, I was like, do it. Keep going.
Ready for 3 rounds. 3 rounds of playtime.
All right. Look here, brothers. I'm going to kick ass. I'm going to take names. I'm going to hang them up on my wall like a display case. And you're all just the victims of the oncoming storm that is Andrew James Barr. But in all honesty, I would be excited to play literally any of you because I you're all great people in my books, and I have a lot of fun playing against you guys, even if Cody's there.
I can't wait for someone to use that in a promo against his fucking green. Fuck. All right, Jay. Any final words for the people?
Nope, because we're not talking about fandom, so I'm going to play dumb.
Thank you, Jake. For the Spider-Man.
is ready.
Oh no.
All
What
I'm
if that's
gonna say
our
is
team name?
that was actually a pretty good. That was a pretty good Macho Man. That was pretty good.
Bro, let's just have our team name be Bone Son. You can just talk for the whole thing, and I'll just be like,
Oh,
yeah.
that's actually not a bad team name though. Both
it's
Son
you.
is not a bad team name.
And it's you who's out, Gobby, out of your mind.
Because then every single announcer who ever calls y'all's matches is Bonesaw ready.
Yeah.
You know what? Jake, is it too? I mean, I'm looking at Jake's comment. Adelaide, is it too late to change their team name?
Let's talk about that after.
We'll talk about that afterwards. Yeah.
Andrew, where can people find you on social media?
I'm on Letterboxd, Andrew Barr. It's all one word. The A in Andrew and the B in Barr capitalized. Anywhere that the fan leagues will have me. And you know, if you're in South Jersey, then who knows? We're just gonna quote.
you heard him first, folks. Just slide in Andrew Barr's DMs if you're following him to New Jersey. Speaking of New Jersey, happy birthday, Christina. And RJ, where can people find you?
Nowhere. I'm a ghost.
Okay.
Like a shadow.
See ya.
No, I'm just kidding. You guys can find me over at Full Metal. You know, I run Full Metal Geek. Like I said, we didn't talk about their tournament, but you know, you can catch me for at least one round. We know for sure in the fandom tournament because I have to play at least one round before I lose. But other than that, most people know I don't have any other social media. Just find me on Facebook, Rene Villarreal Jr. Do not type in RJ. You will find 55,678 people who are not me.
Did you actually count that one day? You're just like, I gotta have a fun day.
No, I make up a random number every single time. I love it when people think I actually looked at a number because I just make the number that specific.
I honestly would. I would just look at how many Google results there are for Adelaide, and it would just be 90%. 90% things like, here's what to do when you visit Adelaide, Australia, and I would not fucking useful.
I get a lot of Power Ranger options when I type in RJ because there was a Power Ranger named RJ, and it makes me happy.
I'm a city and in Guys and Dolls, which I haven't seen yet. You can find me on Twitter at TemekUFilmNerd. It's at TEMEKUFilmNerd. Also check out very big thing happening, and actually exactly a week from now, I will make the announcement on next week called the Fan League. So feel free to check that out. Hopefully, you guys, a lot of people are in the live chat because I would want a lot of participation in this thing I'm announcing. Also, check out the other wonderful shows we're putting on, which have not come out yet. Those are still in development. When they are ready, I will let everyone know the exact plan for this channel. Also, check out Feature Presentation Productions, where I host a show for a watch-along. This week, I did a watch-along with Mr. Barr. We watched West Side Story, featuring Officer Krupke, Fuck You, Michael Campbell, and Tyler Bueller. It was a lot of fun. Made me like the movie a hell of a lot more than they already did. And I highly recommend you follow them in that show and everything else that wonderful channel offers. For Andrew, for RJ, for me, for everyone in the live chat, thank you for being here. Black Lives Matter. Please wash your hands, wash your face. I hope you get KOs. I hope you don't get KO'd. Best of luck on this upcoming tournaments and the rest of the season going forward. Please be safe, stay inside, have fun, and good quarantine to you. See you guys next week. Peace out.